Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of Finance and General Purposes Committee, describing the agenda as extraordinary, but it's not extraordinary. On the 20th of January. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded for publication on the Thatcham Town Council YouTube channel. Madam Clerk, do we have any apologies for absence?
Apologies received from Councillor Jaylan.
Thank you very much. Any declarations of interest from members on any of the items on the agenda? Not seeing any. Thank you. Minutes. We have the minutes of the meeting held on the 7th of January. And the 20th of October. First of all, we will take when was the 7th of January? I only have 28th of October.
Should we, are they on the?
Yeah, I do apologise. It's coincided for saving paper. For it. So meeting of the 28th of October. Jeffrey, because it was a true record. Thank you. So 1 second. Thank you to Cotton. Those in favour. Thank you. And I'm just going to be in for that. And extraordinary meeting held on the 7th of January. Jeffrey, because it's a true record. Thank you. Does that find a seconder? Thank you. And those in favour. Thank you very much. Budget review for the in your item 4A, please ignore, for the purposes of this, the right hand column which says draft budget. A, because I prefer not to start straying into future items on the agenda. B, those have been amended, so there is another set of spreadsheets so please don't allow your eyes to scroll to the right hand side of the printout, because otherwise you get pigs.
We never stray right, do we, chaps?
You probably need to move through these. If there was anything as I go through, I will go through section by section, 100, section 101, 102, etc. If there's anything that the clerk has to advise members of as we go through, we'll ask her to that, and indeed finance manager, and indeed deputy town clerk and finance officer, for which welcome, by the way, ladies. The projected column is projected for the year for particular sector. First of all, obviously some things there with the projected expenditure because of recruitment plans. Anything that anyone has on section 1 can be good. No, thank you. Section 101, corporate management. If grants received 6 months can fit on I'll leave the clerk or the finance manager to explain the explanation of the left.
I even understand it. Because it will go in the end, it will go into reserve. And you can't, you think one transfer to the they can't add the projected figure on that line, so the meters are zero for it to be a projected figure. That makes sense. The outcome will be zero, the money has come in and then it will go into reserves in the same financial year.
Oh, I see, so it doesn't sort of fit there, by the time we get to the end of the year, it doesn't, I think will fit there, in 69 grand.
It will go into a reserve.
Yeah.
I'm going to the market, that's it. Works. Helpful, but so it's how the system works and how we have to manage the system. Section 102, democratic, goes on to second page. Again, we have the same thing with election expenses every year. Chances we've included the way the some for the election expenses every 4 years. So again, if you look on page 2, from the 251, after getting 6,000, there would be 29,000 expenses that we had during 25 and so reserves, so being the actual year to date rather than the section 107 grants. We respond to that one. 108 is nil anyway. 111 street footpath lighting. Just one. 112 street. Looking on there, 113 CCTV. Again, just one, 114 convenience. There's a slight increase on that one over budget, which seems primarily to be electricity, which it is what it is.
Yes, Sharon, you'll find that PDG is over as we go through. So the energy costs have risen considerably since the budget was set.
Thank you. 115 market on page 5. Um, 116 neighbourhood development plan, but it's a small amount there on budgeted for the publicity, and we do have people putting away to people in neighbourhood development plan expenses.
Chairman, that's now. Every, and there's a lot of grants that come in.
Yes, we will be applying for a grant from locality. It is time sensitive, so we have some private prison rights to develop with my being. We will be applying.
Do you think would that appear as additional just?
So that's such a I figure if I myself correctly, which is a blend better than Disney because always Exceptional welcome. There's no questions on that. Quick look at slides, section 112. There, remembrance day, 1, 2, 3. There, United Services Remembrance is a biannual, I don't even know whether it's biannual or biennial. More than 2 years anyway. So nothing's this year anyway. So with a fun day. Extremely good grants received. This year, so congratulations to whoever not finance of it.
Thank you. Most of that grant was for UB Pride and was actually secured by Johnson.
So that's again resulted in a surplus position, not as bad as budgeted. So we're quickly on that. Kids Fest 126. So it's just a slight include the spend on one, but you can slowly the other ones. Specials and one-off. Can you remind me what? Yes, it's £242. So it's exactly the biggest thing in the newsletter. Yeah, please do it. No. Great, great issue. 129, your touring. Section. And now the big chunky one. 190 on television. Maintenance being the biggest one on there. I would like if which is line 403 through the one that's
Yes, Chairman, £894 spent on a £6,000 budget, but the
it's really a natural things.
do have projects in hand.
My apologies, I too trivially incorrect with that. Professional fees. 3.5 budget 7,000.
Yes, because majority was legal fees. On that one.
Thank you. And again, management fees. £5,000
And was it the additional charge from the pension provider? If you came in, you'll see, if you look at the previous letter, 2024 was also over budget, because this, and that spend came in right at year end. It wasn't included in this year's budget. It was a brand new charge that we hadn't had before, so I only presume that it was being absorbed by West Hertfordshire Council previously.
Can I ask information? Number one, are we still doing anything? which is now being supplied interim rate better or something like that. So it's still the same scheme. Well, we're saying the management fees, in plain English, the management fees for something else. It's about that simple, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a charge that we haven't had before. So I don't know whether it's a case of they've gone up, but we haven't been. The guess is that it perhaps was just going to the Staffordshire Council who administer our pensions. But now it's really
Because council are now very keen to recover every events we can from. That's true.
I don't know, just.
Fine, yes, absolutely.
Anyone people who need them. So is no other questions on central services? Go to page 14. This is where the financial alchemy comes with capital projects. Where the various capital projects here. Most of them covered by reserves, I believe, for example. So Christmas lights in the budget.
Yes, 3 million loans were listed for those expenditure from reserve.
So the flood alleviation, that is the transfer from the amount reserve or well. If I agree, is that correct?
That will be met from the compensation claim, has yet to be agreed.
Thank you, Chairman, for the clerk's comment, because for one moment I was thinking, oh, so the money that we have to fork out for one reason or another, but this is all part of what we expect to be getting back.
Does that presumably comes off reserves until such time as we get the claim through?
Yes, well,
Do you know what I'll claim in something? Presumably that's going to cover that forgetfulness.
we are nearing the point of having the draft claim. So obviously it's been revised since the town council is not opening the dock up. The town council project. So the heads of terms and everything are being renegotiated. But I think we're almost at the point that they are ready. We've had a couple of emails from our land agent in the last few days.
Thank you. So there was a queries on that section 2 of the third one. Just spend that. You wonder where we were anticipating we were going to be, but what's in the future. No questions there. Three captains, 20 Hall, 2, on the 15, going to 16. Overall, where we Bluebird School was the truth right in there. 205 Moore's workshop. Again, we were expecting to be. Yeah.
Just curious, I mean, is that a fixed annual rent by charging? Does it seem to have moved?
Yes, when the lease were transferred to renegotiated, they did specifically and did a rent view for finance. And that was the
So the understanding is that
And we won't we covered for annual increase, but that was what Councillor Titus. So this workshop, of page 17 goes into Lord's Pavilion and pitches. Again, there's an overall which would be expected. The insurance claim being certainly less than the demand received by about £300. Priory mention 207. Nice to see the amount now being paid off the capital. Field, through contribution to make to Field. 50,000. Again, that's
Chair, I was understanding that it was 30 and not 40.
Control.
We haven't heard about we paid 10,000 for that line.
It may well be that we will get to actually pay that on to get an invoice from each department. Right, so it may potentially be for the committee, I think. Sorry,
Okay,
but you
that's fine.
I won't want to see the figures, in which case I will be tired. We all also, devolution projects is the budget for this year. Heritage. Cemetery. 231.
Right, yeah, what are E-run fees? I want the E-run fee. No idea. I mean,
So that's. So,
If you want the plot by the side of the path, please do so now.
do we actively advertise this? Because I've never heard of this ability to.
We have this all knowledge on cemeteries here.
It's not just, if someone wants to be interred as a secretary and they want to put a permanent law. Yeah. So most people do, most amazing.
And do we return ashes, or is it just buried?
We don't advertise it, so we're one of the few cemeteries around this area that still has space.
Yeah.
So we want to keep it for future residents.
Okay.
If anyone around the area wants to purchase, I will get to the bid.
It sounds a revenue stream for if you're good to be fine.
We'll run out of space.
Yes, there's a counterbalance between the two. We know because you've raised yourself up. The fact that 7 years time we reckon we run out of space. 7 to 10.
We've got about 20 at the current rate. And trends of behaviours and our ships. Obviously, we've got resources.
we only had, Chairman, someone, and was suicide as part of the day. It's quite difficult to find this.
There is getting into sidetracking, but depending on who owns Silver's Field, there's a piece of Silver's Field that's hardly ever used by anyone. Near the allotments, which would probably provide us with 100 feet by about 400 feet. So, which actually joins the cemetery. So there is, that's a point in time. So someone's right to be a revenue stream.
Yeah.
And you know, people were always welcome to stay to do long term. The one thing I would point out was at Fitcham Cemetery is the one thing I have to point out every year. We do not make a profit on the cemetery. If you take staff costs into account, lowest time and other costs, which aren't on here, it is not. Is there only statutory duty as to collect allotments?
Yes.
So it's our only statutory activity. So if there we change to say please keep the increase, then she's delightful, but there will be that trade-off between that and finding new way. If there's no other questions on cemetery, I think there is responsibility. Close churchyard. Section 241.
Something Councillor Jeffrey's question earlier, we got relevancy of 12.2, projected year end of 6.9.
Yeah, we do.
Rents are invoiced by 10 year, the year end adjustment, the preferred,
Okay, so you can't, so you don't have cash accounting rather than accruals accounting. That's fine.
How many spare plots?
Asking it to manage it as well
Nothing.
You have,
Colin does not do.
currently we have 4 applicants, we have 189 plots.
Very good.
So pretty well. If there's no other question on 241, move on to 251, which is right there as slightly over by about £300.
Chair, yes, so just a general observation, code, I'm not going to say what it is, but code 4135. And seems to be a constant theme, right below budget, and which is good news.
Yes. Might rejoin that is maybe it's anything we could take. You know, the issue has been reduced. That's what we mentioned. We could reduce the allowance there.
Well, it will flow through to the end of year.
So
Deficit also
for the future.
which is obviously
Trying to keep it up and thinking on what may happen next year, to take it wouldn't be very prudent, but it's that theme keeps on going. It's good news.
Indeed.
Which is 261 going down the bottom of the page for the heading, down the bottom of the page 23. Open spaces. On to budget. And there's no question on that. Lastly, to charity. If there are no other questions on
When you make chair.
so,
Then rewind you. I apologise. I was looking for the email from the 25 manager. So that final outturn for the year may well be 40,000, but it may well be a bit less. And what I would ask is that the council officers just follow up on that and find out what the final contribution is for that. I think there's a bit of lag in terms of how that budgeting is agreed. Old contract costs versus new contract costs. I'm not aware, for example, of lost income, major expenditure. It may be that we're a little bit or not open, but we might 40,000 by the end of this month. Obviously, you know, there will be more typical incidents from sort of
to the following finding the
We have to really for a year ago, because the last quarter four is likely to be processed, the invoice are likely to be processed and paid. We will transfer people and we will now because they financial year.
Thank you. Yeah, basically our ongoing project costs, for example, on the committee anymore, but being replaced, they need to be replaced. It's something maybe we should ask. It was because the boilers were coming to the end of use. And I have a vague
thing at the back of my brain.
Is it-
Our responsibility is revenue rather than capital items as well. But I could be totally.
Yeah, it's in grey is there, isn't it?
Chairman, I think that's Kennet Leisure Centre, for revenue only, right, Kennet Leisure Centre. I believe there is the responsibility of capital as well, actually. I can speaking.
And one other point, when you are 25 years old, you maybe need to look at total refurbishment of the building. And so something to keep in mind that there may be some ongoing increased costs because of that. So one, the boilers, I'm not sure because everything got delayed by COVID. And two, that it's going on about 25 to 30 years and may start need to be reset. And just keep in mind that there are other maybe coming in. We need to ask Ms. Berkshire officers to really start in those meetings with regulators, make sure we understand where we are. Chair.
Thank you. Yeah, clerks will know to touch base with. On that. Are there any more questions on the review date? If not, we will move on to reserve and held, which is the AAP bid that we're putting in front of you. We'll start with the general reserves and the general reserves exempt, it was in lines, including mine. Good to say that the forecast at the end of the year, which is a few pounds short of 30,000, includes projected deficit of 30,000, which was the original projected deficit, which was of what we've just gone through with the site costs specifically. That will be substantially reduced as a deficit, and indeed we've identified two other savings for this year, which will further increase that, so further decrease that deficit by around 100,000 people. So that is active as we speak. So that figure there, I always like to see the figure of a minimum of 50,000. That was a fully confess. And I think we would be around that figure by the end of the year. Having no surplus in the middle, obviously feel comfortable, but that's where we are, and we will obviously see what we can do to reduce that deficit even further in the remaining 3 months. What's the problem?
Thanks, Chair. Line 322. No doubt the work needs to be done, it's just really just to be aware of the huge big subject of making sure that at this time we are communicating why certain people here, certain machinery doing that work, people get very upset, and at least what's happened across the Moorfield.
Sorry.
322. So, right. So what it says tree works following survey. Okay.
This is your
Yeah.
project.
Yeah. So proposed expenditure 30,000. Tree works following survey. Right. So we're going to be spending 30k on tree works. I would imagine elements of that will be yes.
It's, yeah, we're actually, if we can put that on, because we want some budget.
It's more of a general point on the work that needs to be done, just making sure that we are managing the carbons on it.
And maybe looking at replacements.
Yes.
For example, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. The other thing we can leave that we were looking at originally is we have substantial funds in digital community, soil money, £1,000, so
Yes.
I think that. So I know that Clarence needs and obviously for the seeking to use that to build our residents and within the 5-year time. Within the 5-year time frame to make the redemption. But unless there's any queries on the general and regular reserves, we'll go to remark. I'm going to attempt to go through the line by line. If there are any queries, they broadly description stay in the meeting or meeting. Which is the page, which is the page.
What we call, sorry.
Mentioned Chair that was calculated by the Eco Friends. I've seen the meeting we were at on previous treatments in Fountain. Was part of the again reusable plastic only. They're looking to build. It's money well spent.
It even what I say to one of the aged Rotarians, but even the aged Rotarians, not only that it was there, but also advertised the fact it was there. So rather than getting single-use plastic bottles as we have done in the past to get out to the runners on Santa Front, so it was used, and that message even got through to my fellow Rotarians who are not in the first floor shipping. majority on us anyway. Myself, of course. Are there any other things that anyone has on any of the March reserves?
Not the proposed expenditures, I really want to put them through into committed expenditure. So everything in red.
Sorry, I wasn't aware that that could be. Okay, so we'll take major projects from then. The 40,000 will be 30,000
That's
from
out of the budget for the surface repairs. And putting it into a reserve for getting surface repairs, because otherwise it would just go straight into are we happy to ring fence
No.
that?
Okay, but I think we normally make those adjustments after year end.
At
Or
year end.
Which is the first of March.
You want to leave that to the next quarter then?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Free works, that is actually in next year's budget and this year's budget. I don't think the entire budget has been spent for this year. As yet, because I know there's some works in February that are planned.
Yes, I'm not sure what that reserve is for.
That was a comment made by a councillor in the last FNGP who applied 30,000 to take, no, actually it wasn't, it was in a meeting with a councillor to say we could take 30,000 for treatments, which that budget would be for the next FNGP. But if nobody knows about that and nobody wants to do that, then we can move on to councillor McCann's.
I think, given that it is already in this year's budget, current year's budget, and is in next year's budget, we'll keep the actual figure. Well, and that final politically dark, because responsibility. Because you don't be literally is. It's already in next year's budget.
It's been dealt with elsewhere after that meeting, then that's fine. I'll just.
I'll have a word with Councillor McCann and see what his thought process was. You can't follow it yourself at the moment. So at the moment.
Okay. And the last one is that there was £10,000 budgeted for the year for the Christmas lights fund. 4,000 odd during this year, but the £10,000 was supposed to last for 3 years. So rather than it being lost into the general reserve, I was going if you wanted a review just for the Christmas lights, it will be carried over for the further 2 years.
My thought, well, my precedent was that there was £10,000. I think we've got £10,000 in next year's budget, or is this for the current budget?
Years. 10,000 in this year's budget
Yeah.
to last, 3 years. So this
Right.
is the surplus of that for the next 2 years.
At the end of the first year, the money's apart and either years 2 and 3.
Sense. Yes. Sense to do it again. And we stick with what we normally do, which is do at year end.
Okay.
We'll pick that up at year end.
Chairman, would it be basically front capital spending the money on the lights? And you're not spending as much in the next couple of years as you've already made. Expenditure on
Chair, and I should answer that.
Yeah,
It's
please
a
do.
hire agreement. I would like to pick the new hire contract.
Okay. We therefore be see £6,000 for the next 2 years, in that case, not literally covered.
But that's what this is. So 10,000 was put into this year's budget. And we've taken out that contract for 3 years. So what's left at the end of this year will go into reserve in the next 2 financial years.
So it's been 6 million, 6 left for those next 2 years.
So
With the initial year more expensive than years 2 and 3.
there'll be £1,000 expenditure this year for the agreed for this year.
No, I understand. Thank you.
Never break my own rule and stray into next year's budget. Chair's privilege, but while we're on this particular subject, £10,000 that's in for service contracts in next year's budget. Is that not the same thing, or is that something totally different?
No, that's something different.
I thought that's all I need to know. In the case of big sense, put that over to the we'll do that. Into and that on sales at the end of the year, so we will hold that soon. Any other questions on the reserves? Public zone grants and item 4C, your focus.
The other new planning item for 2 or 3 meetings ago, just to really report on these 2 items. So we can do a report. How's that? Delivery.
So we have £5,000 refund day by the finance officers. Well, it's been thought of something one off. And then there is grant for the finance 2578, is that? So our total grants are then going to be in the round ball. Being in the bit. That was relatively new income. Sorry, I know we have grant. Seems to me to be higher than usual.
For finance officer Karen, she's working hard on securing a lot of new income streams.
Well, because there's a very, very specific one. If you look at 1077, grant for new music project, maybe this is a flying conversation. I think is that the Berkshire Young Musicians Trust one that I've been trying to understand.
Councillor Jeffrey, is the conversation that you are having with Emma? Yes.
Is that money that we've received or money that we've actually
Money received.
received? We are continue that conversation because we're just actually. Has that money come from the UIFT?
I'm not sure who it's from.
I'm thinking that they think that we did that money to people IFT.
I know you're having a conversation with Emma, to try and work out if two different organisations are one and the same, not two.
That money is money we received from Greenland Trust.
Trust.
Yes, and Greenland Trust has, you can't call these all things. And so some was given to that and some was given to the gold funds, but it's definitely from Greenland Trust that money.
Continue.
Continue conversation or thread.
It's an opportunity to get the information out there. I did find a very good funder for music projects, and I'll send the details to council. This is an opportunity for more funds for music.
So questions on streets, anything? During Christmas, we've always had sponsorship, and it seems to be a sponsorship that we have, Aaron has.
Well, not very much the events team, it's advertising in our programs or stuff like that.
Another question on sponsorship, down to everything about me. It is what it is. I think the interesting thing will be trends.
Yes.
Yes.
On that one. So I think lots of talk for it might be useful and quite we could see in a tabulated form or graphic form. So we can take a view over that period of time in the various categories that will be absolutely mentioned. Right. We will move on to community engagements, working party. There are 5. Which can be recopy pipes. Thank you, Chair.
The party is meeting regularly with the community engagement manager and bring things like branding and communications. It's really key for the council. So I would like to amend the.
Thank you. Second, if you can spot those in favour. Thank you. And recommendation from the
Yes, thank you, Chair. As we the community engagement manager has been putting a lot of work into training and design up to date, and then more in the months like the branding work, the love patterns thing. Some of it's very sort of it's absolutely key for people to come up with the look professional, consistent, and to review. So I would these guidelines.
Absolutely. Second that with the addition of, thinking around the stable for. So nicely.
Absolutely.
Well, you had a mission statement of,
I have to say, I Richard and find legal anything. I'm thinking through that. But the questions or points. Councillor Brown.
Yes, so do define values for Thatcham Town Council. But it says it our vision and values. We've got a board of a rather large brand, the board of management services, and yeah.
I believe we do have stated values in the current council strategy. If the review this year, a new council needs to develop. New values can be
Of course, I'll take care of values. Which in itself says that we probably need to refresh them because they should be able to be a time. All councillors should know what they are to be able to recite them. They need to do work.
That's judgment. That's really.
But what does it mean to be a Thatcham Town councillor? What does it mean to work with the Thatcham Council? What are our values? The previous organisation I worked for was be friendly, honest, straightforward, dynamic, and refreshing with the partners.
Yeah.
We should be thinking
Well, we don't.
Councillor Jeffrey is looking very quick. Yeah.
And I think the education or three parties being done up will be valued in effect to. Obviously, we have a proposal and principles be adopted. With anyone wishes to make, would I look for those in favour? Unanimous, thank you. And. Thank you. Do apologise. Right, no sooner did I say that we need to use these to construct the levy for use of the community infrastructure levy. Yes, saying for some time that one would be going to do very well. There are those who find what's going on social media, making it drops through their little box. But for a lot of people, it's only something you're in the sense that the other personal view is that static notice boards are more or less invisible to people. What's something that moves, something that can be dynamically updated with rolling information on what's going on in the town is absolutely essential. I think when you put some products out there, I really think that if the silver's available to us, that we really ought to move forward and try one of these things. They are very well protected from those that may have no harm upon them, but I think the warranty is not in those elements of kind of should anything possibly happen to them as well. Chancellor Cotton, Chancellor Cotton, your hands.
Yeah, change where we're giving modern information out, but to people who aren't maybe computer oriented, we can refresh it as it's interesting. Councillor Lillycott was getting that because these are made very robust. People understand that there are people who take out their invented feelings against these high visibility solutions. I'm quite pleased to say, I mean, you go into the centre fashion. I mean, I know we're concerned about I say, I mean, I've never seen it being. You look at the other pictures here, like equally the bit to throw across stones like this. Okay, there was some damage inadvertently, but it wasn't anything influence pushing towards them, and I think this was the same. It's, it's, if it works there, maybe we can roll it out. More of our core, in fact, is that we use communication with the public, raising the profile of our event evenings, people can get joined. I mean, strongly recommend this.
Thank you. Councillor Ruffin?
Thanks, Chair. So what version are we going for? We're going for the USB plug and play or the interconnectivity for 5G. What are the officers' preference?
I think it's changing that connection via wire exclusion.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be updated remotely at times, so, yeah.
My follow-on question is, how robust is the IT security with this? We don't want people hacking into and uploading inappropriate content onto our notice boards.
Very
So,
true.
you know, what's the penetration test?
Clark?
So the recommendation is to approve up to 10,000, and then that will allow the community engagement manager to have discussions with the supplier, a site survey, all those sorts of things, and go with the description for its intention.
So if we,
It does say in the document, vandal group wide.
I think Councillor Cossington is more concerned about hacking and someone
Yes.
uploading some stuff that really we wouldn't want to see.
Especially.
What I would suggest then is, we are talking about potentially and in principle to allow community engagement manager to have some finalised discussions, which would then presumably come to ourselves on.
That's community engagement, wouldn't it?
Or community engagement.
If we could delegate to the community engagement work and party and their help.
It's not physical security, which I'm worried about. It's over it regarding inappropriate content.
We can all. Made it. It was our. In the second of the motion that we limit to 10,000 details to be delegated down to the community engagement working party. He said putting words into Councillor Lillycroft's mouth for his proposal.
Yes, I would like to propose that we do, what you said. I delegate him actually.
And there's the second happy with that.
The power code to do this.
Is a power.
Yeah, the location,
Next to
the location is determined very much by the
power of will we need to have an extra for you know, so that we have to
it's heavy duty cable there.
too much.
No, because I understand it wouldn't be a big issue, but it's not something that really would before.
Yeah, to dig up the road or pathway.
No, there's a connection there.
Yeah.
Thank you for this question. That would be a multitasking question.
Well, we're happy a bit more.
I'm saying, you just told yourself being onto the. I'm sure your expertise would be very bad.
Noted.
We can have a proposal
from Councillor Lillycrop, seconded by Councillor Cotton. Those in favour, please. Thank you very much. Okay, we will. Any other recommendations or matters arising from the meeting or the minutes? Councillor Lillycrop. Sorry, with one thing to that then is that we have been discussing the annual meeting swings to make it a more interesting, proactive, engaging event. It's sort of one of the areas of focus of
Information really.
we'll move on to targets for 25, 26. We've walked through each of the sections of the obviously the last one. Walk through and look at the
They're recommending the third form. Your possibility to do things like that, actually. So taking the current sheet, having on 10% and then rounding, and then the far column gives the increase from the current sheet. So
I think if we take page one, and there's one.
Yeah.
Question which Councillor Cotton was probably about to ask.
Yeah, how do we benchmark against our blueprint, for example? I have no context whether we're in a quartile, bottom quartile, average.
I don't really recollection, we have discussed this in previous benchmarking, isn't it? I mean, if anything is on the low side rather than the high side. That's not in my instant recollection.
Yeah, certainly we did last time or time before. Do we have any?
I'm fairly sure we are pretty much at par with unions slightly higher. In some areas and they're slightly higher in others. I can do a
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so let's. Tonight. For the budget, I think next time around we could do a benchmark, not only against Newbury, but
In the spirit of being fair to our people. Then we mentioned earlier in the meeting how we're making a loss. Look at I'm looking to make profit. But I think we need service, considering all the pressures that are. But I don't think it's, as I said, from my recollection, we were not excessive. I think we were reasonably priced, and I would certainly give the recommendation to us that we go ahead with these changes set out and the review fees.
Yeah, do people have a choice whether to go to Newbury Thatcher? Was it depending on where they live on their postcode?
Defer to the deputy town clerk.
they do have a choice. I would have thought like us, choose that wanted to be very new, be subject to triple.
And is that all done by their postcode and resident address?
Yeah, their last address. So the person that's purchasing.
We have exceptions that there are, for example, if they decide to declare an interest in the mother-in-law who is severely ill with dementia and is currently at home at Newbury. And you dropped in Thatcher Mission, where part of the It's that. My wife says that, but we shouldn't be very. But we made exception to the past where someone has lived in 30 years and to move the new thing we.
It wasn't their decision. You've been there as a family.
I second. Councillor Cotton's
Recommendation.
So we will take, Lord Secretary, recommending the, proposed, and that's already in the comments. Birdwood, community centre. Looking at a increase there, Madam Clerk.
Yes. How would now I recommend to increase the figure further?
I think there is competition obviously within section for halls.
Yeah, so when I believe you put certain number of hiring, you don't pay that certain number in. We get that free when we hire cricket nets at Newbury College and other places. We don't charge that with a certain number.
We did all the activities.
Okay. Order them. Okay. I was just thinking that you get I don't know how many events it is. It's like 10 or 15.
Excise might be going around this year.
So you charge a little bit more, but you can stay in.
What's the finance team double checking?
Chairman, we know about it, but it applies to our sports pitches, but it doesn't apply to the calls.
Play table tennis, that's not a school.
All recommended fee, those all just slightly below the 5%. I'll take the council favour in that as well as they are essentially meeting rooms. We can to the council member. Might it be a visual facilities we council thing that would be interesting to compare other places. What we have which is meeting rooms. While we take the recommendation,
But Mark used to the alcohol pool, for live streaming and things like that. So it's finding it very difficult to go back. So you're seeing that, you're seeing there is a value to, maybe you understand and you look at 2.5, you look at panels, you can also use the other sort of.
certainly whenever Rotary Club we have visual, even projectors and screens at places that we have for meetings, there is a set up charge for those.
Just to say, Chairman, that it is part of the civic officer's role to promote using the chamber, and she has successfully secured a couple of new regular bookings, which are starting imminently, and also the hot desk scheme as well. So she will continue to promote it regularly, and particularly for those reasons that just discussed.
Susan, we recommendations.
Thank you. And we wanted to include some pavilion, jump zones and landings. For any comments or thoughts? the recommendations be adopted. Councillor Fletcher.
Yeah, the only reason why we can go to 16 on the pavilion, we went down to 15.
Chairman, the reason being, the pavilion has such strict covenants on it that the use is very, very limited. So pricing it out of the markets wouldn't help in any way, so
Okay.
that's why we picked it at a reasonable charge.
Unless there are any other comments, I'm simply rules, trying to second, thank you, those in favour. Thank you, and finally, the weekly market and the themed market. Well, sort of really want to, not sure whether we've had second thoughts or whether we have second thoughts on the weekly market.
We all read financial year, we indeed a better rate for the market to encourage regular attendees, and that's actually worked very well. So recommendation is that the increase of £1 for regulars. We've kept that quite modest due to recent events at the market. There's definitely to increase the title of £40. Also is more incentive than the attendees, and I think comparable with the markets.
That's Jim. Thank you. Unless there are any questions, is that one second? Who's in favour? Thank you. And lastly, the events and themed markets. Go on, Carpenter assist.
Yes, so we have a different kind of with for the events. This year we're kicking off our themed markets as well, with the Chinese New Year market in June. So these are based on a slight increase on the pricing and local events. Our fees reasonable and comparable. So this is the recommendation from myself, the event manager and project manager, and review these and these are the recommendations that we came up with.
Manager. Yeah, I opinion either way on the figures that have been can't see that the Corbyn's and included what they are now. So
Yes, it's a £5 increase on each degree.
Thanks, Jack. We managed to talk about VAT previously. There's only the Birdwood, which you've included VATs previously. On these fees for commercial, is there VAT on these or that included?
We have an option to tax on Birdwood, which is why the Frank Hutchins isn't.
Yeah.
We can charge that. We do charge VAT on stalls either, do they? That may be something that we market system. Yes.
So market stalls are exempt. Okay. That's the same for all of the theme days as well. That's okay, so that's one.
The only thing we charge that on is sponsorship at the market is only for the is payment charge on that. Which is even asked to do with story.
Okay.
Councillor.
Yeah, sorry. Can't see it there. But do we allow like a zero rated? No, there's no charge for charities. They want to use it as school. Is that maybe a possibility?
We always used to. It was something that I was particularly keen on. I mentioned for the Christmas lights on one day. So that decision was made several years ago.
It's remained the same, I think, probably for the last 5 years.
May I just suggest that if we have staircases there, and there's like a lot of shops in the neighbourhoods, and it was a see your machinery. You see it's on the basis that we don't have anybody to rent it. So we can see. This is, yeah, I'm asking questions tomorrow.
Yeah, just to sort of cut in there, we do charge charities to attend the events. We do offer free place at the Friday market. So there's free places available on Saturday mornings on Broadway. So there are options for charities.
That's good.
You know, so we're in the community, movement.
Gentlemen, I really do use things that I once ran my own business, and one of the things that I used to read, even fairly simple set of accounts, one and we're charging it, being with people in America accounts charge. Yes, sir. Sure, there are such groups for customers that does it now. We can't make up who we choose to charge VAT and who we choose not to charge VAT. What is it we say?
We're not choosing, we are within the guidelines.
So we're following the rules. So it says that VAT on market sales will exempt from VAT, so you don't need to charge it.
So there's no big concession that we're making.
Yeah.
It's just.
The only reason we charge VAT on usage of the encouragement
Yes.
is because we have opted to tax us. Because if we opt to tax the reshared treating, then it means that we can claim back all of our VAT. So it means we
All the backbone items we have to spend on purchase, we can claim that.
all of the vatable items that we spend full stop, we can claim back as long as we opted to tax the building.
There is what they call a de minimis level,
Yes.
dragging his the depths of his memory.
We're all right on
Um,
right now.
And therefore, if you tax something, the tool that you're liable to before you pay it. Thank you. Put it in layman's language anyway. That's not
Say it's very effective tax planning, which allows us to reduce the cost of our the able to repay revenue, which is a really good thing to do. It's really positive cash flow.
and things like I'll take over mode en masse. And then on the promotion which is a million fee, and those in. Yes. Thank you. Thinking from some application we have in contract, very much. We've got this up today. I was going to talk to Councillor yeah, sudden chair. So we have what we have in front of comments.
Both we take this as
Yeah.
I think it is a startup or near startup. We're supporting them in future with housing to support. So, yeah, if Councillor Coffman's proposal finds a seconder, thank you. Those in favour?
Chairman, do you want to comment to support the application?
Right, financials. Really good experience from accounts. Rather than flip through page by page, is there anything that Councillor Jeffrey and you do look into? Yes, this one here. But Councillor Cotty, you want to?
I, part of the internal control review we initiated a little while ago, you can see the signatures which I've made on the bottom of each individual page, so I'm independently review these.
And I have some.
Unless there is anyone who would like really on them. Have you done all the council plans?
Yeah, I think we have Councillor Pemberton.
Oh, yeah, it's sorry, the other council. Yeah, I found it down there.
The better half.
Independently vetted.
They wanted, and like to accept.
I would propose therefore we accept them all the place. Thank you. Details of other payments, where are we? Not we make a lot of payments. Eventually, right. Our payments may mostly standing direct debits and standing. What are these payments?
The first one, I think, all the direct debits, bank charges, transfer between them, etc. All on file. The full council.
I would propose that we note these. Unless anyone has any queries, does that find a second? Thank you. Those in
I noticed the back salary payment from November, the 49 to October 27th, and November at 56.
What page you want?
Page, the item 8B, page 2. The backs, May in October, and then it's 66.6 in November. We have quite a 10K, so 25% increase.
Someone join.
So, right, so you got 47K right
Yeah.
at the top.
Have a look at that and feedback. Yes, and try and answer that now.
Oh,
it does seem actually that
oh, it's the increase, it's a pay increase in that pay, that's probably. You know, it's quite the pay in the increase that everybody received.
Thank you.
Sorry, that took me a while.
Back to reconciliation. No.
This is what I'm going to say.
Can I propose that we note this subject to Councillor Coffey on being having money time?
Yeah.
If that one is the second one, thank you. Those in favour? Aged creditor reports. Sorry. Rates is the usual thing, which is actually spread over a period. The two on there, the house and the lion dance. The lion dance presumably is the New Year's New Year.
It's an invoice and dispute, which, the services manager has been chasing, 6 months, 7 months. But I have said to him now, it needs to be resolved before financial year end, please. We should run it.
Lovely, thank you. I would, on those of all outstanding ones seem to be, so we are paying our bills reasonably fine, as indeed we could. I will then move on to the questions on that, to the page second report, which is next year that we're approving within the that's good. I don't want it on the screen because that's not fair. Really, I'm looking at anything over 60 days. HA 069, any?
So we have a company, there's no financial issue at the moment. And I've said they will make good as soon as they are able to. I did ask the negative invoice to follow up today, everything in a preliminary. What we can do.
So we're on to.
Yeah.
Below 4 again.
Right. And when we have many emails have been sent, strongly worded letters of all the years, and my letters. We now do a phone call today. They promised to pay tonight. So
Thank you. 72.
yeah, their invoice was raised because of that rule, which I think they have changed now. Their invoice was raised in one sum to avoid their damage in that and scheduled over 4 months. Their last payment is due the 31st of this month.
So, thank you. And the last one. Seems to be a sort of informal transfer.
Yes, it does. Can I just say that will be completely cleared for the next time we review that?
That to the finance manager, there have been some issues in getting signatories on
There's the new bank accounts and thank you all nominating bank accounts for the new bank accounts and the dilemma. So, but we're at the end of that road now.
We're actually physically going to the bank accounts and physically increase our reserves.
It's already accounted for, but when the Sans Ledger invoice is replaced.
Okay. Straws.
Well, this, or is it just not worth it?
Given the amounts we're talking.
We just take the hit.
Yeah, we had once for about £1,000. The financial regulations say that any debt should be written off at year end. But we think that there's a chance that it doesn't get out of debt, then we can always
The sums we're talking about on the over 60s days, clearly not worth sorry.
So we just usually advise them that we may go to county court. When we got to that level with the customer hasn't paid, they don't want to have a county court judgment. So, if we're not doing that, it might be worth saying.
I'm sure that's in our armory. I don't think some of the ones on there at the moment we don't necessarily want to take back immediate action, but
It's certainly in our armory, it's part of our process, we do a advice letters and we do a plan letter. And actually, in all the years I've been here, we've never got to the stage of having to take a small community business to court. So hopefully we won't, but it is there in the rules.
if there's no other questions on the financial reports, we'll go on to section 9, unfortunately, council of the town is not here, therefore, with me being we have a proposal here that anybody who knows but I believe we have a proposal to instruct a King's Council in conjunction with other parishes, even one parish that has decided currently don't want to join with Bury, our salaries and the ANR. One of their councillors has said that they will donate £1,000 towards it. So there are two proposals here. One is that we do £4,000 towards the cost of the King's Council, and the other one is that we agree to the use of the town council bank account to public relations from surrounding areas. I know Huckleberry and there is poised with leaflets was ready to deliver more, and as well is ready donated to himself to do until he's actually agreed it decided to Councillor and Councillor.
Yes, thank you. This is a very, very serious issue. I think it's one of the main issues that the council is presenting. And we will not be doing our fullest to do as much as we possibly can to try and get to the point where we find out is there any further things that we can do. And it is a little opinion. You didn't feel we've asked that question, you don't know. You are these organizations.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson.
Well, I think as a compliment very well said, I was going to say, the intro of the point is that we are not going to run a actual town council against individual to campaign, asking millions of pounds on taxpayers' money. Going to the company absolutely reasonable, qualified, modern. We do is with anybody else's interest was used just to like individuals and maybe one or two other parishes that are prepared to come in with some of this. So if we put £4,000 towards it, so others put money in, we will be able to seek a qualified QC's opinion on whether there is any ground which we can reasonably position some opposition to the plans which are currently going through at this point. So it is that it's that simple, that complex, and this council should be prepared to accept any of those funds that come in by individuals or councils I told them certain things to be able to use this.
Which I did check with, the town clerk as to, she doesn't have any opinion about whether committed to women. Provided, that the donations were accepted by us and that we made payment, we want to pay them to a third party to pay the fee. Acceptable to the auditors. We also as part of with several with emails from owners, so that if for any chance, by any chance, we have to release those as made payments in the first place.
Yeah, before we take a vote on this, I just want to play devil's advocate. I'm not necessarily against the proposals that are that they couldn't think of us. I absolutely hate the local plan and everything about it relating to North East Thatching. If I could stop it tomorrow, I'll do it. You know, absolutely. Being honest, that is not going to happen. This is so complicated, this issue. It's limited to hit my link from Councillor Pike, who, as we know, has done a huge amount of work on this throughout the process and the public hearings, and the impact that work has, and the positive effect that it's had in terms of, you know, when we come out at the end of this process. Councillor Pike is of the opinion that this is not a good idea. He's of the very firm opinion that it's not a good idea, because his emphasis now, and has been for quite some time, modifying the plan as much as we possibly can in the small amount of time that's left until the plan process comes to an end, in terms of getting the very best outcome for Thatching, which I think is commendable, for the reasons that I've just mentioned. And I think it's instructive as well that some of the other parishes adjacent to Thatching are not putting their own money in. And I think it's the question why that is, and those private individuals are, but they're not talking and now they've decided they don't want to. We're fronting the bulk of this money, £4,000. At a time when we know there's massive budget pressures, okay, £4,000 is not going to make a massive impact in terms of the budget going forward. But I'm just making the point that that's council money nonetheless. Council money that we're asking our residents to pay. Just making a point before
I have every confidence in Councillor Pike. He has done an amazing job. But I also saw how this pushed through desperately, putting all the resources and all their officers on the case, politically motivated, just to dump these houses on that. And a critical mistake. I think you could have said this. Somewhere in their thought, mistake, right? Not taking that box. There was a silver. Pumpkin. And they had to reverse that. The one thing, there are unknown unknowns. Which is what did us do. All of the public are solidly behind us. Why do you think? Because all of them here and the just because we fought this tooth and nail and so forth. We need the closest to because I think let's have one more. There could be. Simon's admitted to me he hasn't really increased the budget. You know, he hasn't done. And while he's to a lot of points, there's nobody around this table who can say that we honestly know that. And yet, if we get a French list who knows, ticking that box. trying to look like this. We've seen glaring mistakes. Maybe there is one little mistake. Torpedo into this and say, hey, you didn't do that, you could have done that. And none of us can know that. We promise to do everything we can. And this is just one last throw of the dice. Yes, people. Shit. You just literally spend that for £1,000. So I think to propose the lead of councils, Councillor McCann, who's giving us a steer on this, and to support him in his opinion. And that's what I suppose.
Chairman, forgive me, I give you a generosity in letting me speak a second time overwhelmed. I think putting it as succinctly as I know how to put it, this is a moderate amount of money. Yes, £4,000 certainly is, in my opinion, very useful. It's £4,000 of public money, a moderate amount of public money proposed to be invested in seeking a professional King's Counsel's opinion. He may agree with Councillor Pike, he may disagree with Councillor Pike. When we've gone through this process, we will know one way or the other whether there is any realistic legal room to prevent or delay or improve the existing plan which is being forced upon us.
Yeah, just what's how much money are you looking to raise for 50k? Okay, good, just okay. Okay, what we're talking about.
I have no. We are looking to commit this money for obviously so within our control, so we're not actually paying it. Given I do live in North East Country, and the strength of feeling on the estate that I live and the road that I live in, especially those who are the misfortune to up all the way, in very strong. And I personally would not feel I could look them in the eye if we have not done everything reasonably modest.
Yes.
If this was £200,000, £1,000, local was every different opinion. But I personally feel I could not we have done everything we reasonably expected to do without this last action.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So question.
Thank you, Dr. Second. Thank you, those in favour. Those against. Standing abstentions. And now we come to so we have had several meetings, discussions from groups. Well, it has been the most convoluted project I've been involved in 13 years. With various things coming in and out and some things. The would potentially be the final budget. First of all, we did have the meeting, the public share view, and there are months where this was discussed in detail with various ideas being batted around. I would ask the talk to look through the changes that we've had since then, which is on your board.
What was the time for which we need to vote? So, can I propose that we do that now, preemptively?
Certainly can, if that finds a second. Thank you. Those in favour? Kind of hoping that we could work already be probably in several work put in we might have contentious items, but we will we'll find out as we go through. So on the this one, there are various changes since the last iteration we put forward. Those please.
Considered on January, say just short of £19,500. It was agreed at the meeting that the draft be delayed and reviewed. And feedback was passed to me for the changes that are listed below that. A couple of them I do wish to advise committee of my concerns about, and the chairman has authorised me to do that. So we'll do that at the end as we go through them. So there's an addition to the budget was last reviewed by committee. There's an additional £20,000 added for additional HR. £10,000 has been reduced from the grant for business. It was for provision for government being able to bid for. I believe instead there will be the use of the for that function. A few sort of little changes there on, you'll see there's
We're trying to find the particular page we're looking.
It should be probably the front of that section of the sheet.
10-9. There you go.
Sorry.
So the waste disposal, just some minor adjustments on those figures. Traffic management, these are compliant figures now, because those services have all been secured. The budgets have been projected in line with that, and they have all, majority, all but one have come in at the original draft budget. There is some variances on key holding, and I will be speaking to my place team to have a look at what our options are. The key holding, those costs appear to be rising quite significantly. I'm due to tender on that, so I'll see where we are in that position. The rates figure, it has increased on central services because in the original drafts, efficient was allowed in the draft for next year. So my apologies for that. But it's really now.
2 seconds. Can I hand the chair over to Councillor Pemberton? Old man's bladder.
And There was an instruction to review the grounds maintenance general at the cemetery. There was an addition to the grounds maintenance contract. At this point, it hasn't been portioned out over the various sites, just purely for ease of the draft budget. The contract is likely to be significantly more than in the original draft, for another, as you can see there, 58,800 has been added into this version. And there was an instruction to reduce the tree works by a further £3,000. There are some increases in income, so the total net of the expenditure is additional expenditure of 45,756.
Just a quick one. The grounds maintenance figure, the additional figure of 38,801 has been put in, obviously
Yes.
subject to change. Where does that interim figure come from?
So the grounds maintenance working party has been reviewing the tenders.
Yeah.
Been made, it is likely that the recommended tender will be an increase on what we did last time.
It's obviously a holding figure. It's a figure that we know is going to change. So I understand the process by which we've said, okay, this is where we're at the moment in terms of the negotiations for the rest of the church. How's that kind of interim figure of 38,801 been calculated?
That it will be subject to some change because these are all independent, the working party of reviewing. So that is based on likely successful tender out. So the additional income has been higher than predicted, so we added another 2,000 onto the anticipated interest received next year. A management fee that year will be charged to Matcham Memorial Foundation for the grounds maintenance work that we and the expenses recovered as well. So the management fee is what we charge for services, and the expenses recovered is the cost of this the contract. Prior to this meeting, there was a £460 value I couldn't work out. I have actually now I believe the 230 above I calculated it as a minus figure, it's actually a positive figure. So the calculation is still the same, and it was in favour, it was additional income that I couldn't identify. So the budget that is in front of you now, to be showing a deficit of £18,171. And I'll ask the chairman when he would like me to raise my 2 points. May I do that now?
You do. Yeah, we would like to.
So the 3 concerns that I have about this draft budget, one being the addition of £20,000 for HR. Significant for that into the budget at a very late stage, and I don't know what it's for. So just to raise that concern. The other is for the tree works. When we first started looking at budgets in September, October, the original tree works across all of our sites was £33,000. It's now £22,000. A drop of a third. I have significant concerns about that. The original budget was based on surveys and arising from those surveys. Plus reactive work as well during the course of the year. Who knows what's going to happen. We also need to allow to be able to respond to additional works. There's a significant health and safety risk of reducing the to the point where we can't carry out the work we are supposed to be doing within the timeframe. Could there be any incident arising from that? There is potential that it would invalidate our insurance. So I do bring that to your attention, that I don't believe a 22,000 market contribution to the that need to be considered. Jen.
Can I just ask if it's that on the two? We are looking at a three, which. I think that iteration of the previous budget, 19451, the total in there was 30,000 that was split between various sections. So that 3,000 would take us down to either 30 or 27,000.
So it would have been 25 in the budget that went to F&GP on the 7th of January. And I was instructed to remove a further 3,000, which now brings it down to 22,000 across all sites.
Thank you.
May I say that I have a concern that we have budgeted for a deficit of £20,000. I would, when reserves are being spent quite significantly, £20,000, we also need to come out of reserves at the end of the year, particularly for the reason that we have an additional £20,000 that we don't know about. We have that, the budget would be beautifully balanced.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said in the previous meeting, I'm concerned about figures. Well, Billy Lane, that was one of the children wanted to then drop that. So I'm equally concerned of some, the societies in that subject. There is, there must be a certain diminishing returns when you do work on trees. You do it every year. You are improving hopefully every year. But then if it comes in, something like that, then obviously what I just ask is, have we got these budgets that are we actually costed projects to figures that orders? Is it 30,000 or is it 20,000?
So Chairman, so costed against the tree survey plus allowance for reactive work was the original 33,000 that was in the first budget.
So we had a contingency of 3 on top of what we thought.
I can't recall what the contingency was for reactive work. I haven't the figure in front of me.
No, that's a reactive fix, not known as coming in, you're putting there and saying, right, okay, bridge, we want to start the work. Well, I'm in general agreement. I think we're saying maybe we need to look again at that. Because if we have professional advice that we need to spend £25,000 rather than £23,000. Or are we going, well, it would be nice to have, it is 23,000, but should we put a reserve in there of £3,000? That's what I'm trying to get beneath. Is the projected figure, if it's always the same, it seems a little strange, because with the natural product, there's a bit of variation through knowledge, through methods, as well. From. So I'm trying to understand, is that figure a precise figure you had quoted to us, or are we just going, well, that's the bridge we take over the last 5 years, and then we're putting some more future?
Chairman, it is costed figures against the tree survey plus contingency for reactive work. And have that split open figures in front.
Yeah, that's what's causing me confusion, if I'm honest, Chair. I do think there's a huge amount of sympathy with the fact that when it's used upon bringing money from the budget, when actually it needs to stay in there. But until we know what those figures are, I think it's difficult for us to understand what the final implications are. I'm still getting my head around. The original recommendation, we are for 33,000. Then the recommendation came before F&GP account for 25 and then 22. First of all, what is the figure, please? Because I'm still confused. And secondly, what is the recommendation from the experts? So we've got those questions, and I'm not sure what we can do. Sorry, Martin. What I think you said in the detail.
Well, the first part of that, the based upon the therapy. And then I was instructed on 2 occasions to bring it down to 25 and now down to 22.
If I may, through you, Chair. So, first of all, what is your opinion on the reduced figure of 25,000? Would you be happy with that in principle, or do you think it should still be more?
I think 25,000 would be an acceptable figure.
Unacceptable, I'd say.
Acceptable. Yes, so the further reduction of 3,000 was
Happy issue.
yeah.
The other point as well.
No,
Sorry.
go.
I'm not trying to be pedantic. When Miri said we're looking at a projected deficit of 20, that's not quite right. It's 18,100. So I know you know what you mean, but that's right.
Okay, so if I may come in, we last in 14,171 pounds, and we're forecasting a deficit of that, and we're adding expenditure of additional recharge of £20,000. The apologies, if an additional £20,000 was not in the budget, we would have a small UPP favour to the council.
No, I totally accept the numbers and the point that you're making. I'm just making a point of the fact that when you talked about you specifically said 20,000 for the purpose of the minute. That's not right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there are. Here tonight, because he is the person who knows. But before I finish my preamble, I'm feeling just.
Yes, can I ask Chair Figure, which Clark and also Finance Manager, we talked about one of the on this evening, actually, all of them pay provisions. It's an actual budgeted costs to do. So are there any other lines where we've made a provision for costs to be included? When we control of, or we can pay the movements, and which has been charged in total in next year's budgets.
I haven't got as a collective figure, because in the draft budget it splits out across various.
It would be really useful for one to have a summary on the page for line items, things like the stationery, so you can then see.
Do you want to announce that?
Difference to when we will.
Can I also make the main plan policy? So previously we were claiming we were landed in our insurance company £2,500 to the insurance company for that plan in those places where an option.
Sorry, the next place.
Last September,
It came to us in GP. I think you remember it.
Probably with a number of playgrounds.
The number of boundaries in grade, particularly, they.
It seems to me there are two areas of potentially the majority of which is not contentious. One is the one is the work. Can I just ask about that £3,000 here? That from the 25,000, which I believe would be is acceptable, down to 22,000, which I believe is a figure that is not. We have 3,000. It's difficult in the outputs of the leader to comment on the 20,000. That is a figure that we have been given. Bearing in mind that we are asked here not to make a decision, we are asked to recommend to full council what I would propose is that the majority of the budget be accepted and recommended to full council, but that in the intervening week we seek to get some clarity around that 20,000.
I would propose one minor amendment to that, which I consider to remember. I think putting to one side the question mark around my personal opinion, I don't know what amendments think is if we've got an expert saying people, we can lift them out and make it feel like we than our own informed opinion. So, I would agree with what Park is saying around the principle. It's probably a sum of money that we shouldn't be removing from the budget. If members agree with that, we can start with the final budget will come through full council in the usual way.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said I'm assuming within that the 25,000, so that 3,000 there does not get reduced. Sorry, 21,110. Which it's a bit possible. Not from here, self and the finance manager disagree slightly. I have never known us to over budget.
Yeah.
And I consistently have known that we have come in at 10, 15, 12,000 under budget.
Yeah.
It was 1 year, no doubt, we in total we've done budget and managed to slam the brakes on with some expenditure deferred into the following year, but some expenditure which actually doesn't need to take place. So I'm absolutely and totally accept the finance manager's concern. I'm less concerned because I know how the county budget tends to.
If I could just come back on that, without this unknown item, then the budget is as usually.
Indeed, which is why I think it's important that we find out a little bit more about that. 20,000. So I would be happy to recommend the bulk of this budget, bar the 20,000, to full council on the basis that in the next week find out a little bit more detail, costings, unless someone has knowledge of what's happening.
I understand it, it's HR development, but. I think actually. I would say that, you have said, and I think we're agreeing that we go back to the 25,000 for the tree budget.
Yeah.
And I'm understanding. Mark. We can't see recommend it until we have further requests. So it's in limbo.
Yeah, thanks, Jan. It's been fun years as councillor Compton regarding HR policies, procedures, things which, and it may be that it's an amount being set aside without quote coming in as being the best estimate, and all unlikelihood it won't be as much as that. So I think it's just really a case of identifying the amount and putting it into the budget and line item. I know what you're saying, the projected for next year, for this current financial year, is 15k less than the budget for interest. That's this time last year. So yeah, there's always places where you can, as Chair said, we stop the spend, make sure you come in line with the budget.
Last,
If it's about HR policies, if there been some negatives come up with our current HR
no,
policies? She had an on because
I don't think it's anecdotal in those meetings. Like, I'm not going to do an HR discussion in the finance.
absolutely. I apologise.
So, we would propose that the vast majority of this budget is the council. The 20,000 with a view in next week to finding out more what that is, and or not, the council can then make a decision. I would say it. Thank you. Any other? Please.
Just one for confidence, requesting the budget for Rambling is 115,000.
So if there are no other questions, no other points, those in favour of that proposal? That is unanimous. Thank you very much. I would also propose, bearing in mind that the minimum reserve level, the 220,000 that we have, is the whole purpose of reviewing that this line of the cycle is because it does play in the budget. That we defer that. My belief is, given that we have an increase in the precept, but probably not at risk. If you got to the 5% level, in fact, it did even really work reserve. So my recommendation will lead to full council goes up by say 5%, £10,000. We can cover that from council. I would suggest that we actually into a full council. We don't have yet the state of the bridge. Unless that is in
Yeah, that's fine.
comments on that one. That is, I think, everything on the. So, did we take a vote? Thank you. Right. I believe that brings us to the end of the public section of the meeting.